Right. Very sorry for being late, lads. I hope you're all good. I was having issues with my internet. It kept going in and out, and I was also recording something with Sunny. I think we're live now. Hello, everyone. Sorry for being late. I do apologise. We are here now. I was recording something with Sunny that sort of ran over a little bit, which meant I couldn't change the scheduled time of the stream. Also, my internet kept dipping in and out. It's fine now, but that's why I'm late. Apologies for that. I hope everyone's all good. I do apologise. Some people getting annoyed in the chat. Archie, thanks for backing me up there. Yeah, hope everyone's all good. A lot to talk about today. Apologies for the slightly later stream as well. I had some stuff going on this morning that I needed to do. So it wasn't in the usual time in the morning. I will be streaming live tomorrow to do the Europa League draw as well and talk about any other bits. We're going to talk about the Europa League format in this stream. Everything you kind of need to know about tomorrow. We're going to talk about some transfer bits. We're going to talk about Van der Ven and Solanke potentially being injured for the game against Newcastle tomorrow. As you can see here, there was no Solanke, Van der Ven or Richarlison in the training videos yesterday. Again, I'm sure we'll find out tomorrow. That is something we'll talk about in tomorrow's stream when Ange Postecoglou does the press conference. We'll find out what the truth is there. But we will get into it. What else are we going to talk about? We're going to talk about some potential outgoings. We're going to talk about failed medical at Spurs as well, that I'm sure you guys might have seen something a little bit about yesterday. But I don't think everybody sort of knows about that. We're going to talk about some loan exits as well. And we're also going to talk about the England squad. Lee Carsley has named his first England squad. And that's where I want to start, because that is kind of the freshest piece of breaking news. Apologies for, like I said before, guys, apologies for being late. Thanks for sticking around and waiting for me to jump on. Right, first England squad. Lee Carsley, no Tottenham players in the squad. I mean, don't know what's happened there to the page. Oh, there we go. I didn't realise it was going to take me through to a link. Let's just go back to that graphic. That is Lee Carsley's first England squad. There are no Tottenham players in the squad. I think it's interesting, the squad as a whole. Obviously, no James Maddison in it. He's been left out of the England squad again. Look, he's had a good start to the season. I'm sure this will hopefully kind of inspire Maddison to kind of continue this run of form that he's on at the moment. And, you know, obviously he wants to prove people wrong. But he's been left out of Lee Carsley's first squad. He's gone for a young squad, which I think bodes well as England fans, excited for the future. Look, you can't always think about Tottenham and these kind of things. I'm sure James Maddison's very disappointed about it. And obviously rightly so. You know, he feels like he's playing well at the start of this season, but it's only been 2 games. And again, it's obviously very hard to kind of name an England squad off the back of just 2 games into the season. Obviously, there's games in this international break coming up against Ireland and Finland, I believe, Nations League games. But obviously, Lee Carsley's brought some players through from the under-21s as well that I want to speak about, which, again, if you forget Tottenham for a second, is quite exciting. So we'll see. Well, let's have a look at the squad kind of in its entirety. But hopefully this kind of inspires Maddison to, you know, keep up this vein of form. He's got obviously a lot of big games coming up to do that against Newcastle and Arsenal too. So it's Henderson, Pickford, Pope in goal. The defenders are Trent, Colwill, Mark Gahey, who looks like he's now not off to Newcastle. If we can, let's just talk about that quickly. Obviously, this is something that kind of affects Spurs for the weekend. Look, the transfer window's not done yet. And maybe they could push something through on deadline day, Newcastle. But it doesn't look like Spurs will be facing Mark Gahey on Sunday, which is obviously a big bonus. Newcastle are set to walk away from their long-running pursuit of Mark Gahey after growing tired of negotiating with Crystal Palace. The St James's Park Club have offered a club record fee of £65 million plus £5 million in add-ons, but Palace owner Steve Parish has so far refused to accept. The deal is not dead in the water, but the situation isn't good. Again, if you kind of bring it back to Spurs for a second as well, in the sense of like, an Eze deal, despite the release clause, would have been very hard to negotiate. You look at how well Palace have done to keep Mark Gahey at the club and rebuff those kind of offers. But let's get back to this quickly. Ezri Konsa, Livramento, who is someone that we will be facing on Sunday as well. Rico Lewis, Harry Maguire, John Stones, Phil Foden, Conor Gallagher. And this is where James Maddison might feel a little bit unfortunate to miss out. But again, Lee Carsley has obviously got one eye on the future with this squad. Angel Gomez is in the senior England squad. Kobbie Mainoo, obviously, Cole Palmer, Declan Rice and Morgan Gibbs-White are there. I think that's a first senior call-up for Morgan Gibbs-White, maybe. Again, it was someone who was a big part of his under-21 setup. Jared Bowen, Eberechi Eze, Anthony Gordon, Jack Grealish, Harry Kane, Bukayo Saka, Ollie Watkins, and Noni Madueke, a senior call-up for him. Obviously, again, someone that Lee Carsley has worked with. So, look, James Maddison will no doubt be disappointed about that, but hopefully, like I said, can kind of use that as a bit of inspiration to kind of spur him on to, keep up the level of performance that we've seen at the start of the season, and obviously do that consistently throughout the season as well, hopefully from a Spurs perspective. Justin Glazer says this England team is actually horrible. I think it's quite exciting, to be honest. Ruben Rodriguez says he's doing the same as the Spain manager and bringing up some under 21 who he worked with. Exactly. Southgate would have done the same thing as well when he was in that position. Thinking Maddison masterclass year is inbound. Hopefully this is kind of what we need. This is almost redemption arc from Maddison. Obviously very, he doesn't want his England career to be done. And I'm not saying it is done by any means at all. But, hopefully he can use this kind of as that bit of, fire in his belly going into these big couple of games. Because Spurs, we've got a big couple of games coming up against Newcastle and Arsenal after the international break. Obviously, Newcastle on Sunday. Lucas Spinner says no Wharton is disappointing. Spur him on. Great pun, Ben says Gollum. You're right. You are right. But yeah, let's go back to Spurs for a second. So, like I said earlier in the stream, no Solanke, no Van de Ven, or no Richarlison in this training clip that Spurs put out yesterday. Frustrating, very frustrating. Obviously, Dominic Solanke picked up that injury against Leicester. We knew that there was a chance. That Solanke wouldn't be fit for the Newcastle game, and said himself that there is a chance that he could play, but the hope is that he's definitely back for Arsenal after the international break. Obviously, Solanke's not been selected in the England squad, which I don't necessarily think that gives you an idea that he is fit or not. He wasn't picked before for the Euros anyway, so I don't think that gives you a great indicator. I think the only way we're going to find out is in Andrew's press conference tomorrow, but doesn't bode that well. One thing I did see was I'm talking about Van de Ven more so. One thing I did see, which I tweeted yesterday, someone did say that where was it? I can't find it now. Someone did say this Niall guy, and there's a video of it, that apparently Van de Ven on a doggy Snapchat was training. Again, we don't actually know whether this was from the day before. I'm trying to think of someone who might have tweeted this. I think Carly might have tweeted it. So maybe Van de Ven is fit. Maybe they were just resting him. Maybe he was, but he wasn't in the gym or he wasn't on grass training. Let's see if I can find. I'm sure there was a video of it. Oh yeah, here. So he was training on a doggy Snapchat. He was in the gym there. So hopefully that bodes well, and hopefully he's fine. Look, Van de Ven didn't have the greatest game at Newcastle away last year, so I'm sure Newcastle fans will probably tell you that this wasn't the worst one for him to miss. But obviously, massively important to the way that we play. Obviously, he was excellent against Everton on Saturday. Hopefully, he is fit, because we are a weakened side without him, without Mickey. So hopefully this is the case and this is fine, whether this was from a few days before or not. Maybe that training clip was from the day before. Maybe he is fine. So we shall see. Imroon says, Ben, thoughts on the Gibbs-White situation? Wasn't even on the bench yesterday for Carabao, and one of Forest's key players not injured, and there were a few hours before the game there were Spurs links. I didn't see those Spurs links, I'll be honest. I'm not sure whether Spurs would do a deal that big on deadline day. Obviously, we did it with Brennan Johnson last year, but that's because there was a lot of work that was kind of gone into it before. I mean, if they're tweeting stuff like this, who knows? I mean, I'll be honest. I didn't see any Gibbs-White to Tottenham links yesterday. But let me know if you guys did. I think I just saw people kind of saying stuff like this, the fact that he wasn't in the squad, and putting two and two together, the fact that we are looking for a midfielder. But I'm not sure Gibbs-White is what we need, if I'm being honest. So I love Gibbs-White as a player. I do really like Morgan Gibbs-White, but I'm not sure he is what we need. But yeah, I'm not sure there's much in that. But yeah, Van de Ven, who knows what day this was from, but hopefully it was this week. But yeah, obviously Van de Ven, Zaire has just said that there. Only just tuned in, but I haven't seen anything about noting Van de Ven's injured or other than what happened at the match. Even so, he continued running afterwards. Yeah, but then again, you could say that about Solanke. Solanke had that impact injury right at the start of the game against Leicester, and then it was kind of only really after the game that he felt the knock, and that was when he was out. Sometimes these things, obviously it was Van de Ven's knee. I was at the game, so I actually didn't see the replays of that Van de Ven incident that people were talking about. Obviously, I saw him go down and was holding his knee, but I was at the game, and I haven't watched the full match back. I didn't see that. I didn't see what actually happened. A lot of people said it did look grim. Obviously, I think Dragusin was warming up to come on, wasn't he? And then he obviously gave the thumbs up that he was fine, and obviously was really good in the game. But again, you have to kind of factor things in like adrenaline. And, you know, like I said about Dominic Solanke, Solanke got injured in that Leicester game right at the start of the game. Played through the 90 minutes, looked absolutely fine, and then he's out for a few weeks. So hopefully, fingers crossed, Mickey is all good and is fit to play on Sunday, because he would be a big loss. But again, I come back to this thing with people like Radu Dragusin, is that I feel like there's this kind of constant clamour from Spurs fans to say, look, we've got to get him in the team. You're talking about moving to a back three. You're talking about, putting Romero into midfield to bring Dragusin into the side. This is the exact situation that you bring Radu Dragusin in, and it's the exact reason why he's in the squad, right? So hopefully Van de Ven is okay. Obviously, I've put Van de Ven injured in the title. That is kind of how we see it at the moment. He wasn't in training, but hopefully he's all good. But Solanke is one of the ones. Solanke we can replace. Look, I'm just desperate to see more of Solanke on the pitch, because I really liked what I saw against Leicester, and I think he's going to play a big part for Spurs this season. But Solanke is... Van de Ven is the one we can replace better and bring Dragusin in to kind of to replace him. But when you've got Solanke, and if I come back to what I was showing at the start of the thing, in that training video, I think I've just lost it actually. There was no Solanke or Richarlison, which is just like, and again, look, Sonny played really well through the middle on Saturday. In a kind of a different role to what we're seeing Sonny play as that striker. I thought he was dropping a lot deeper against Everton, linking up the play really nicely. But against Newcastle, I think that was one of the reasons why we got exposed last year. It wasn't just down to our poor defending. For the first goal, you think about the fact that we didn't really have anyone to, retain that control and that pressure in their half of the pitch in that game against Newcastle, when we were caught in transition, we were caught on the counter-attack. And look, I love Sonny through the middle, but they're going to kind of smell that same blood that they maybe did last year. They were able to completely freeze Sonny out of the game. Ross Davis there says that it might be more of a game for Kulusevski through the middle rather than Sonny, and maybe play Sonny out on the left and Odebear or Johnson on the right-hand side. But we're going to do a video on the channel tomorrow breaking down or previewing the Newcastle game. Might do it tomorrow or Saturday. So we're going to talk about the tactical aspect of the Newcastle game a little bit more, just exactly like we did for the Everton game. We're going to be doing another one of these streams, how Spurs must set up versus Newcastle. So make sure to subscribe to the channel, turn your notification bells on for that one, so we can kind of do it and stream it together and talk about the tactical aspect of the game. Also, lads, I am very, very close, as you can see there, to hitting 5,000 subscribers, which is a mental kind of milestone, really. We're 31 away at the moment, 4,969, really. So we've got over 300 people in there watching right now. If we could hit 5,000 subscribers in this stream, that would mean a lot to me. And, to hit that, my first video was, 2 months ago, Barret Chiese, that first video. And since then, we've gone on to hit just under 1,000 subscribers. So hopefully we can do that. So if you're not subscribed, there's over 300 people in there right now. I'd massively appreciate you dropping a like on the stream and subscribing as well. We're getting there, lads. The growth has been quality, but it's all down to you guys. I love putting the content out there for you, and I love kind of building this really engaging community where we all get involved. So if we could hit that in this stream, that would be a massive kind of milestone ticked off, which I'm incredibly grateful for. So I'll keep you posted whether we do that by the end. But yeah, like I said, I'll be doing a stream tomorrow or on Saturday where we kind of look forward to the Newcastle game and talk about it from a tactical aspect in terms of who should start. And obviously, off the back of that, we will know if Van de Ven, Solanke and Richarlison aren't fit. At the moment, it's all kind of guesswork pieced together by training clips, etc. So, that's classic Tottenham, isn't it? I've never known a fan base to get so worried and worked up over training videos. But yeah, that's the situation as we see it at the moment. Let's go to some of your comments. Gollum says, your channel growth has been insane. I massively appreciate that, mate. Veers Vlog, my day's been good, mate. My day's been good, thank you. Van de Ven wouldn't have played like he did in the second half. It was a long-term injury. Yeah, I definitely hope you're right, mate. Amin says, it appears that Levy hasn't provided sufficient support for Ange. Many of the recent signings seem to be driven by the club's strategy rather than Ange's personal preferences. But I think Ange's personal preferences align with the strategy. Ange Postecoglou has final say on the transfers, in terms of who he wants to bring in. He might not do the scouting necessarily himself, but you can clearly see that they're marrying up Ange's philosophy with the type of players that they're bringing in. So I don't really understand that. let's talk about a lot of people asking about the failed medical. So there were rumours, and again, our ITKs haven't exactly been the most reliable over the summer, but again, with the way that Spurs have kind of kept the door very much closed in terms of the transfer business, you can't go and blame it. I've seen people like Paul O'Keefe getting a ridiculous amount of stick and abuse for what, just passing on information that he sees as true, or has been told by reliable sources. Just because we don't sign those players doesn't make him not reliable. Things change and move very quickly. But we got there was a few bits of ITK floating about yesterday that Spurs could sign a player yesterday or today. He was a young defender that Spurs were looking at. And it turned out that he actually failed a medical at Spurs, if you believe reports. I was told this bit of information. I know other people were told this bit of information, and then it came out on Twitter yesterday. So if you've not seen this, Matt Hayes tweeted about this. It was Spurs journo, Poseidon kind of backed this up. Tottenham were close to signing Borussia Dortmund centre-back Soumala Koulibaly this week, but the 20-year-old has failed his medical. Unclear if Tottenham will pursue other defensive targets. So that was the piece of information I also got told yesterday, that Spurs were looking like they were going to sign someone, and then the medical was failed, and I was actually told it was Koulibaly. So definitely was something in this. There were legs in that, I think, because a lot of other various people have also said the same thing. Young defender, again, I think this is something that obviously he's potentially failed the medical. And again, this kind of deal came out of nowhere, a bit like the Odebear one. So wouldn't surprise me if it was true at all. But if you... There has been talk about Spurs being in the market for a defender in the last few days of the window. So we will see what happens tomorrow. I do think Spurs will probably sign one more player. Koulibaly was probably one that they were trying to get in. And obviously, the medical was failed. Someone just said in there, apparently according to Plettigol, he's gone to France. Let's have a look. But I do think Spurs will get one more in. I think it'll be a young defender. I think there's probably something happening in the background right now. But again, if there's not, then we shall see. We shall see what happens. Where did Koulibaly? Oh yeah. Oh, gone to Brest. Medical completed and all paperwork signed. Okay, maybe that was wrong then. Maybe that was wrong. But there were rumours of Koulibaly failing the medical. Like I said, I was told this. I'm not, I wasn't claiming it to be gospel or anything like that. But okay, fair. Wow. Okay. Maybe that isn't true then. But like I said, I do think Spurs will. We spoke about this on the stream on Monday about it almost being a little bit more club talk. That the fact that Spurs kind of thought their business was a bit done, and there are things that they're working on. So I wouldn't be surprised if Spurs get one more in before the end of the window. So we shall see. Deadline day tomorrow. Like I said, I will be streaming tomorrow. I'm not going to be streaming all day like Sky Sports News, but I'll be streaming tomorrow to talk about any deals that do happen. But maybe this isn't the case then. Amel, sorry I'm late to the stream. Any of the injuries confirmed, or is it just speculation? It is just speculation at this stage, mate. It is just speculation at this stage. But again, as Ilmatic says, the fan base was correct about Solanke being injured when he wasn't in the training video before the Everton game. So we shall see. But again, we're going to find out tomorrow. So we'll have confirmation once Ange does his press conference tomorrow. Nearly 400 people in here, lads. Like I said, make sure to hit the subscribe button. Make sure to like the stream. I am 16 subscribers now away from hitting 5,000, which would be a crazy milestone to hit in the first 2 months of launching the channel. 2 or 3 months of launching the channel. So if you're not subscribed already, do daily Spurs content on here. I stream, I make tactical videos, anything that you kind of want, from a Spurs perspective, you've got it covered here on my channel. So make sure to hit the subscribe button. But Madsey last year he was set to go to Burnley, failed his medical and ended up going to Antwerp. So maybe English medicals are harsher. That's a good point. Yeah, that's a good point. Who would you realistically like to see us get in? I think it's hard to give a name at this stage because I think whatever name comes out, whatever player Spurs sign, I think it will come out of nowhere. Will come out of nowhere. Matthew Coppola says Lang likes to work more close and not in the press like with Odebear. Hopefully he's working on centre-back / left-back cover. Yeah, I agree. The reason I was running late to the stream as well as my internet kept cutting in and out when I was trying to start it and set it up, which I apologise for. I was recording a video with Sonny Snelling, Sonny Talk Spurs, and we were kind of almost giving the sort of our rating and kind of verdict on the transfer window. And yeah, we both sort of said that like maybe we're just that one kind of, maybe that one centre back, maybe that is the one position that we've kind of left ourselves a little bit light in. Maybe is that kind of centre back / left back cover. So yeah, I would like to see Spurs bring someone in that area in the last few stages of the transfer window. We're approaching just one day, especially if Van de Ven is injured. Look, again, this is the sort of situation that Dragusin can step into 100%. Wild Dog says Van de Ven not injured, no. I mean, I'm kind of just going off of that transfer, that training video yesterday. Again, it doesn't look great. Like I said with Solanke before, Spurs fans kind of got this inkling that he wasn't going to be available based off the training videos. So we shall see what happens. But let's move on to talk about some other little transfer bits before we talk about the Europa League and Carabao Cup draws. Can we bring Ashley Phillips back, or is he gone? They won't bring Ashley Phillips back. He's only just gone on loan. Anel Medic says one sub close to 5k, bro. Thank you very much, mate. Van de Ven was on a doggy. Yeah, we talked about. We did talk about the Snapchat video earlier. Sorry, Gary Weisman said, "Is Ben Bowman AI generated?" I'm not sure what you mean by that. So, Real Betis are pushing to sign Giovanni Lo Celso's top target for midfielder since June. Lo Celso is expected to leave Spurs in the final days. And negotiations can now start as Nabil Fekir is on his way out there. I think they were waiting for Fekir to go to bring Lo Celso in. So hopefully, look, this will be a good move for Lo Celso. Back to where we signed him from. Obviously, someone that he definitely feels at home. Definitely someone that he feels valued. Definitely someone that he performed really well, and which made kind of Spurs obviously pull the trigger to sign him. Just hasn't worked out for Lo Celso at Tottenham. Don't wish him any bad kind of will at all. And I hope he does go there because he hasn't got a place in the squad. But again, if you kind of go back to this, not to keep going back to this training video, not talking about the injuries for a second. Look, Reguilon and Lo Celso are still training with the club. You know, we're still allowing these players to kind of be a part of it. We're not doing what Chelsea did. We're not doing maybe what some other clubs have done, where they've forced players out the door. So they're very much still a part of the group until they go, which is good. They're not part of the Postecoglou's plans necessarily, I don't think, but. It's good that they're not being treated that badly. And look, Reguilon also prepared to leave Spurs before the end of the window. Talks ongoing now to pick the best option. I do think Reguilon, I think they'll both get a move, and Spurs will get a decent little bit of money for both of them, hopefully. I'm not sure what Reguilon's contract situation is. I'm not sure what either of their contract situation is, actually. Let's have a quick look at that on Transfermarkt to determine how much money Spurs could potentially get for them. But yeah, it looks like they're both going to be leaving before the end of the window. So you guys let me know your thoughts on that in the comments. Reguilon is class. Why did we chop him? I'm not sure what Reguilon has done to make you think that he's class, but everyone's entitled to their opinion. Let's have a look at contracts. Contract. So, players that are in the last year of their contract at Spurs, obviously Son Heung-Min is out of contract actually next summer, so he will sign an extension. Reguilon has only got 1 year left on his deal. So Spurs will be looking to sell him. If not, they maybe loan him and release him next year, potentially. Lo Celso, again, both of them only got 1 year left on their contract. So we'll be very interested to see how much money Spurs could potentially get for both of those. In terms of other departures, Tyrese Hall is available for loan before the summer transfer deadline on Friday, should the right club come forward with the guarantee of minutes. Loan move would be good for him. Obviously, started the season well for the under-21, scored those 2 goals against Chelsea in the first game of the season. Justin Glazer said, would not be surprised if Dragusin is gone next summer. I'm not sure about this. I made a video on TikTok about this earlier, talking about Spurs fans kind of struggling to comprehend that squad depth. I know it must be frustrating for him, but if Van de Ven is injured and plays for Sunday, he will get his chance. And look, we're going to talk about the Europa League draw very shortly. He will get very much a chance in that competition and in the Premier League as well, with injuries and suspensions and the like. So I'm not worried about Reguilon Dragusin, sorry. But Will Lancashire is set to stay at Spurs with Tottenham's first team this season, despite loan interest from multiple clubs in the Championship and abroad. So obviously it's good that he's getting that interest. He's obviously injured at the moment anyway. Should be hopefully back for that first set of Europa League games, which seems like a nice segue to move on to talk about the Europa League draw. So Mitch here has done a bit of a thread explaining it, but he's also helpfully, handily put the pots there for us to kind of talk about. We're, like I said, guys, we are, not to keep asking, but we are 8 subscribers away now from 5,000. So if you can help me get there in this stream, that would be massively appreciated. Madsy says Kadioglu out and Reguilon in, Fenerbahce need a left back and Mourinho's there. Yeah, I mean, if Spurs had gone for Kadioglu, what a fit that would have been. That would have been great. Gollum says, can we talk about George Abbott and Notts County? Yeah, it looks like he's going on loan to Notts County for the season in League Two. Good move for him, go and play some football. A lot of that under-21 side has now left and gone on loan, so it's good that they're going and getting the experience. I don't think Jamie Donnelly started for Leyton Orient last night against Millwall, but they went through, didn't they, Orient, I believe. So yeah, the Europa League draw hasn't been done yet. It's been done, I think, at 12 o'clock tomorrow. But Spurs are in pot 1, getting in there with a coefficient of 54. So in pot 1, it's Roma, Manchester United, Porto, Ajax, Rangers, Frankfurt, Lazio, Tottenham and Slavia Prague. Pot 2, Sociedad, Alkmaar, Braga, Olympiacos, Lyon, PAOK, Lask, Fenerbahce, Maccabi Tel Aviv. Pot 3, Ferencváros. I don't want to butcher the pronunciation of some of these names. Karabag, who obviously we've played before. Galatasaray in pot 3, wow. Victoria Pilsen, Bodo Glimt, Union SG, Dynamo Kiev, Ludogorets, Midtjylland. Pot 4, Malmo, Atletico Bilbao. Atletico Bilbao in pot 4. Hoffenheim, Nice, Apoel Nicosia, Anderlecht, FC Twente, Besiktas and Elfsborg. So, let's have a little chat about how this is going to go down for Tottenham. Like I said, I think the draw is tomorrow. So, I've got a little handy Sky Sports article here to talk about it. The biggest changes, obviously, you guys know, same with the Champions League, which I believe the draw is at 5 o'clock today, it is now a league format, a 36-team league stage. Each club will face different teams with 4 home fixtures and 4 away. So you play 8 different teams in the group stage. The top 8 overall advance directly to the round of 16. Team that finished 9th to 24th will then compete in the knockout playoffs, with victors progressing to the last 16. The knockout phase remains as was. So the draw is tomorrow. The knockout round playoffs on the 31st of January, and the knockout round proper starts on February the 21st. So here we've got all the teams that have qualified. So yeah, and the final was in Bilbao. As we know, Spurs have also kind of put this out in terms of some of the key dates. Again, kind of explaining the situation in terms of the league stage. So we will face 2 teams from pot 1, 2 teams from pot 2, 2 teams from pot 3, and 2 teams from pot 4. Spurs were drawn out the pot as in previous years. A computer will then generate our 8 opponents. And then match day 1 is the 25th or 26th September. Match day 2 is the 3rd of October. As you can see with match day 1 and 2 and match day 7 and 8, because there's 2 extra games, there is only 1 week between those 2 games, whereas in the past it's obviously been 2 weeks. As you can see with match day 3, 4, 5 and 6, obviously there's a bigger gap between those games, 2 weeks in between each game, whereas obviously at the start and the end of it, it's kind of bookended with 2 games in a congested period. And then the playoffs, if Spurs are in those, will be the 13th and 20th of February. One difference also is that we're going to be playing group stage games after Christmas, which we haven't done before. Round of 16 is the 6th and 13th of March. Quarterfinals is the 10th and 17th of April. Semi-finals is the 1st and 8th of May. And the final is in Bilbao. The only date you need to know and put in your calendar is the 21st of May. So that's kind of everything explained. Hopefully that's all clear. Someone just asked me there, Jamal Davis, what are your thoughts on the draw format? I don't mind it. I don't mind the league stage. It's kind of, if it wasn't broken, don't fix it. But it's something new. I don't really mind it. I have an issue with the Carabao Cup. But we'll talk about that. Book a hotel for May 21st. Got it. I've already done it, mate. I'll be honest, I have already booked a hotel for Bilbao. We've talked about Van der Ven. There is a chance Van der Ven is out injured. Look, I didn't put it in the title with a question mark. I apologise for that. But yeah, he might well be injured, but we'll find out tomorrow. So we'll talk about that. So feel free to watch the stream after and kind of go back. We are very, very close now to... We're 2 subscribers away from 5k, lads. 2 subscribers away. Right, let's talk quickly about the Carabao Cup draw. So obviously Coventry away. Game will take place the week commencing the 16th of September. So obviously after the Arsenal game, the week after the Arsenal game, it will take place. The draw format as a whole, I mean, let's have a look at it. In terms of like the European teams being kept apart and all that kind of stuff, I don't like it. I don't like it. I'll be honest. If you look at the fact that Liverpool, City, Arsenal, Man United are all at home, Chelsea got Barrow. I think it does just stink. I don't really like it, I'll be honest. I understand the rationale behind it. I do understand the rationale behind doing it like that in terms of keeping them apart for fixture congestion for Europe. But it's giving them such an advantage, isn't it? Look, we were included in that. I'm not complaining, but yeah, 5K. Well, yes, lads, come on. We've done it. 5,000 subscribers on YouTube. Thank you all very, very much for getting me over the line in this stream. Massively appreciate it. We've done it. 5,000 subscribers. Look, thank you guys all so much. I literally couldn't have done it without you because of all of you kind of consuming the content and pressing that button over the last 2 or 3 months since we started and getting involved with these streams. Like I said, I'm trying to build like a all these streams is just me reacting to news and transfer bits. It's not the hardest kind of content in the world, but I put a lot of effort into my other videos, and I just think these kind of streams that we do are a good opportunity to build this community and for me to kind of develop that relationship with you guys who watch the streams, and we can engage and have a chat like we always do. So massively appreciate it. Guys. So thank you very much for getting me over the line to 5K. Someone said, what's with the clickbait? I mean, Van de Ven is not in training, so he might be injured, and also there was a medical foul at Spurs yesterday, according to some reports. So yeah, also it's YouTube, isn't it? It's a title. If you watch the streams, if you watch the videos, you know what we're actually talking about. So yeah, but Coventry away, hopefully Madders gets a goal against his old club. Yeah, not the worst draw in the world for Spurs, but I just don't really, again, I don't know how you guys feel about it. I don't really like how the draw's been done, if I'm being honest. Like I said, it does benefit Tottenham. It does benefit Spurs, obviously, but I'm not a massive fan of how the draw's been, how the new formatting of the draw to basically keep the European teams apart from each other. But yeah, it's kind of, I don't know how you guys think. Let me know in the chat. El Dante said, what did you do before, Ben? I just think you seem to be a big guy on the scene and know everyone that's everyone. You make good content, so keep it up. Thank you, man. When you say I know everyone that's everyone, I mean, I feel like I've got myself in with a good amount of people that I work with, and I was talking to someone about this before, like about working with the right people and surrounding yourself with the kind of right people. I worked in the music industry before I did this. I did marketing for a record label. So that's what I did before. Viz Vlog says maybe that's a game our youth can play. Yeah, it'd be a good opportunity to sprinkle some of the youth in against Coventry. El Dante, thank you for the super chat, bro. I appreciate that. Thank you to everyone that's saying congratulations. I massively appreciate it. Next one's 10K. Next milestone 10K. 5K ticked off. Next one's 10K. I also hit 30K on TikTok this week, which I'm, again, massively grateful for you guys for getting involved with that. Uploading regular Spurs content and other kind of football content on there as well. Obviously, I don't upload a lot of non-Spurs stuff on here. I'm going to be doing a video on Saturday kind of reacting to every team's Premier League transfer window and kind of ranking it. So if you want to hear more of me kind of talk about non-Spurs stuff, then I do a lot of that on TikTok. I am thinking about in the future how I can maybe expand and talk about stuff outside of Spurs, but also I just feel like, we've built a nice little Spurs community here and it's working, and we're all kind of, it's nice to see some of the same faces kind of coming back on the videos and everything like that. So I feel like that community building in the Spurs kind of world is what I want to prioritise. I've also got another Spurs TikTok page, a dedicated Spurs TikTok page, which is, growing nicely. So go and get involved with that, guys. The links are in the description. But yeah, I massively appreciate you guys' support, obviously. Someone was asking about Van de Ven again. We talked about Van de Ven at the start of the stream and before. Do you think Andrew will play 2-10s against Coventry? Potentially. Again, he's kind of set the blueprint for playing against maybe lesser sides that are going to want to sit and make it difficult. But we shouldn't underestimate Coventry. Look, they gave Man United a very, very good game. A very, very good game in the FA Cup semi-final. Came from 3-0 down. They knocked Wolves out of the FA Cup last year as well. So it's not going to be easy. So yeah, we definitely shouldn't underestimate Coventry. But yeah, I think that's probably where we're going to wrap it up, guys, to be honest. Slightly shorter stream today. I've got to go. I'm going to record a podcast in a second with Spooky, who I'm sure a lot of you guys know from the Fighting Cock, obviously. We're recording we're recording Filthy Shambles today. So go to this tweet, go and get your questions in as well to ask us on the podcast. I'm literally going to record that in about 5 minutes' time. Like I said, apologies if you can hear my dogs in the background there. Like I said, guys, massively appreciate all the support and getting to 5k. Did it in this stream. Go and watch it. If you joined in late, go and watch the stream back to kind of run through everything we talked about with the injuries, potentially to Van de Ven and Solanke. Like I said, we're going to be streaming tomorrow or Saturday previewing the Newcastle game. We're going to be streaming anyway tomorrow as it's deadline day and talk about any transfer bits. And obviously after Ange Postecoglou's press conference, we will know more about those potential injuries to Solanke, Richarlison and Van de Ven that could keep them out of the Newcastle game. So fingers crossed for some good news there. Like I said, if you've missed any of the stream, feel free to go and watch it back. And yeah, hope you all have a good rest of your afternoon. It's Friday tomorrow. It's deadline day. I'm sure Spurs, I do think Spurs will sign a player tomorrow. We're notoriously quite active on deadline day. So I think, would not be surprised if one more comes through the door tomorrow. Obviously, we're looking at a defender. There was that rumours of the Koulibaly medical failed. So yeah, we shall see what happens. But thanks for all the love on the channel. Massively appreciate it, as always. We're about to record Filthy Shambles, so go and listen to that when it comes out and go and drop us a question if you want to. So massive support, massively appreciate the support as always, and up the Spurs. Nice one.